don't think it should have changed.
Hello everybody and welcome to the QVR Invitational event day 2. Today we'll be at the Azerbaijan Grand Prix and France. I'm delighted to say I'm joined by Deadly Flo. How are you?
I'm good, and I'm excited to be here for the second event of QVR, and I mean, we've got 2 exciting tracks coming up.
Yeah, 2 very what's the word? Exciting, I think. Like the amount of spins and keeping on the track is going to be very important, I think, especially around this Azerbaijan circuit, as the walls are so close.
Yeah, I mean, especially in one-shot quali, you'll have to be on the limit, but also make sure to not mess up, because I mean, you're so close to the wall, and you can easily take your front wing off.
Yeah, it's a very big risk-free reward here at one shot. I mean, the good news is if you do crash out, it's a very easy circuit to get moves done, if I remember correctly. So it's not the end of the world, but you just want to be up there, really, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, in the race it's pretty hard to overtake, but it's not too bad, because you've got the main straight, of course, as the drivers are starting their laps now. I mean,
as I'm on board with Jamie, so I think I'll take you through.
Too, so.
Yeah, we'll take you through.
We'll just
take you through. The brakes into turn 1 around the 100-meter board, clips it, does the apex very nicely there for first lap. Goes into third here to get a nice smooth run through early into fourth. Very good on the exit, and so far so good for him in P6 at the minute. As he heads down the first of the many DRS straights this circuit has. On the brakes, heavy into the court, takes a nice and wide line, very safe, I think, as he goes into the very technical part of the lap where you need that downforce switch the car to survive at all in the race and qualifying, and he's doing this lap very nicely as he heads into the castle section of, well known for disaster among F1 drivers. How will he takes the curbs very nicely there, gets through. Well and good, and he's on a very good lap so far. He's at P5 according to the standards. We don't know how true they are, but going into the end of sector 2 now, how will he take this curb? As it can be, he takes it very safely indeed, which is understandable in considering it's a one-shot quali. Now into sector 3, which is really just a straight. He's done the lap very well for Jamie, and he's going to be on for a good result here.
Yeah, he's gonna end up in 4th unless someone has got the best setup on the straight. And I mean, you can't really mess up here anymore. So I mean, I think Wouter's gonna be on pole.
Yeah. What I remember from last week is
oh, actually, it's not Wouter on pole.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It seems to the standards seem to change, even though nothing actually can happen on the last straight. But yeah, it's a very good lap from Jamie under pressure, and he does well. Do you want to run through the standings?
Yeah, I'm gonna run through the standings. Combi Kermi in P1 for QVR. We've got Relentless Wouter in P2, QVR Shanks in P3, Jamie in P4, Simply Superman in P5, Joel in P6, Campbell in P7, Justas in P8, Tibos in P9, Knuf in P10. And outside of the top 10, we've got Spaghetti Chips, Noisy, Forza Brandon, Noah, Dressy, and Commentalist. And I mean, Commentalist crashed out really early, I think, so he'll have to do some better work this time around. And also 2 disqualifications. I mean, there are some tricky parts on this track where you can just easily get an invalidation.
Yeah, I think from last week, Relentless did have a very good week, and it seemed to be kind of a theme of their drivers. I don't know if they meant it or not, I don't think so, but they seem to start a lot further back and then work their way through the field very nicely indeed. So I'm guessing they'll be hoping for something sort of the same today.
Yeah, I mean, this track is always known for at least some carnage, because no matter how good of a driver you are, it's pretty much always gonna be be pretty exciting, and also really hard to take the track, especially with fighting and being so close, because all these guys are really quick and on the same pace, and it's gonna be hard to really just get out ahead here.
Yeah, I think anyone who's raced this track knows what you mean. It's 100% pressure for the entire race, unlike some of the tracks where you can afford to go wide if you had to. You really can't here, which is what the drivers will be well aware of going into this section. I think lap one, I'm going to expect some chaos going onto this first straight. I think there's going to be a lot of 2 wide, 3 wide moments, so I'm going to save my breath just in case.
Yeah, and I mean, looking at the tyre choices, there's really nothing unexpected. The top 10 on softs, everyone outside on mediums. I mean, it's pretty obvious that was going to be the choice.
Especially with 25% races, it's not unless, I mean, even if you did get damaged lap one, you can go straight mediums to the end, really, so...
Yeah, it doesn't really make a big difference. Because
the
tires are also, I mean, the softs are better, of course, but in 25% races, it really doesn't make that much of a difference.
I was going to say, I don't think they actually drop off in 25% races. It's just you have to change at some point, also.
Yeah. I mean, the only thing that you can actually do is an undercut or overcut. That's the only thing you can do, because the tires are, I mean, even if you're on the mediums at the end, it's not really gonna be that much worse than being on the softs.
No, I think I do prefer races where strategy isn't the main talking point. I think I do much prefer the racing on track to decide the result, but we can't always get there. So
yeah, hopefully. I mean, it's a track where racing is pretty hard sometimes, but I mean, racing can also be nice here. I mean, unless cars are going up on each other and driving aside of each other, I think it should be a good race.
Yeah. I think this long straight, I think, especially the second that DRS gets turned on, it'll be slipstream heaven for a lot of people, like IFR Joel in P6. He's just going to get slipstream from everyone.
Yeah, but of course, everyone also has to nail the start, and I mean, sometimes you just mess it up, and
easier said than done. Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting to see who's gonna come out ahead, because I mean, maybe even the best position for a guy like QVR Shanks might be the outside line, because he can just take the better line through turn 1 and go around the outside of Wouter.
Yeah, as long as his teammate in front of him doesn't have an awful start, he should be able to challenge Wouter into turn 2, I think it is, yeah. As the 5 red lights are on their way, and it is go, go, go here in Azerbaijan, as we waited about 20 years for those lights to happen, as QVR Shanks has done what exactly we've said, round the outside very cleanly of Wouter into turn 1. He's made it a QVR...
first incident, and it is TTG Knuf who's in the wall.
And as expected, lost his entire front wing.
Yeah, someone had to lose it all there, and QVR Campbell in P5 had a pretty nice start, but has to defend himself from Joel, who's right behind him. And I think that is Tibos trying to go around the outside of Justus. Actually, there's another guy out.
I was going to...
What happened there? Noah? I mean, Noah and Brendan crashed with each other going into turn 3, and I didn't quite see what happened, but they just went straight on, and Noah just missed out on the corner completely and went into the wall. So
that's 2 drivers without front wings going. It's going to be a long first lap for them two, just keeping out the wall, especially for Brendan on those medium tyres. Not what he would have wanted at all. I think spaghetti chips in P13 also without a front wing. And there might have been some damage being taken in the castle section as well. I think that is Noisy who lost his front wing. And yeah, Tracy nearly running into the back of him. I mean, he also got damage to his front wing. Let's see if Commental has got any damage. I do not think he has. Yeah, he's the only one that got away there, but 5 guys with damage, 1 guy retired. Azerbaijan turning up as usual and giving everyone damage.
Yeah, but now we can look to the front now, because the QVR guys had a pretty good start, and I mean, as we said, Shanks took the opportunity and went around the outside of Wouter in turn 1.
Oh, someone's Justus has gone into the wall.
Yeah, so, but he didn't. I think he actually avoided going into the wall, because
if so,
he did not get damage.
Fair play. I thought he was straight into the wall, to be honest.
Yeah, I also thought the same. It looked like it.
as a
pretty
lot of
stable.
people are in.
Yeah,
That
2 guys staying out, and the timing glitch is back again.
Some people on hards, yeah. Just, this timing glitch, you've just got. It's just a part of the game now. I've accepted it, really.
Yeah, just trying to. Yeah, I mean the game. There's not much to say at the moment.
Yes, it's not perfect, but it's Codemasters that if the game was perfect, no one would be able to complain. Am I right?
Yeah, I mean, in some way you always want to and have to complain about something. I mean, perfect game really should not exist because
Yeah.
that would be way too boring.
Yeah, for sure. As one thing I am starting to see is QVR running away with this event at the minute. They had I'm guessing, I don't remember checking standings, but from the results that happened, QVR did get the most points first event, and yet again, 3 of their 4 drivers all in the top 5, which,
Yeah.
as everyone else is almost a pit stop behind already, it's very good for them. As FR...
Voucher gets past
yeah.
Shanks on the straight with DRS, of course. One guy pulling into the pits, I think that's just us. Maybe he did get some damage somewhere.
Yeah,
but
maybe some slight damage that he just wants to get rid of quickly.
you also could not see on stream, but well, I guess we'll have to find out now once he pulls into the pits. He's getting a new front wing. So he did get some damage.
So is that
And I mean,
almost half the grid now? Yeah, half the grid with damage after 2 laps.
Yeah, and no matter how big the damage is, I mean the track, if you have at least some kind of damage, you really have to pit because you cannot drive with
It's
any kind
a lot
of
more
damage.
effective than any other game. Like, I remember light green game last year, you could pretty much carry on as normal. This year you're losing seconds a lap. As Welter
seconds
does
a
seem
lap
to be on a bit of a charge here to get back into the lead of this race. He's caught right up to Karomi, and he dispatched Shanks very easily as well, considering they was all in a slipstream together. So as long as he keeps it clean, he's in a good shout here.
Yeah, I think Wouten needs to do whatever he can do to get points because I mean QVR 25 points ahead of Relentless in P1 and nearly 70 points ahead of IFR. They've nearly got this in the bag if they can just keep this up because I mean currently 3 guys in the top 5. Now Jamie getting past Shanks as we have Shanks going into the pits actually. He just pulled in right ahead of him. Joel also in the pits. And I mean FRL currently in last in the event with 21 points. They only one guy showing up today who is in P3, but I mean supposedly the other guys did not get invites, so
I don't know really what happened down there, to be honest, but as Combi was looking around the outside there, as Simply Superman said to fly and lap on those mediums, a 139.4. I don't know how effective it will be, considering how far behind he already is, but maybe later on in the race he will catch up to this front 4.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, of course, the top 5 still have to pit everyone, and I mean, Carmentalist is one guy that definitely is a little bit further behind all the guys.
Yeah, been a world of his own at the minute, isn't he, Carmentalist?
Yeah, and I mean, Simply Superman, he currently is 5 seconds, about 5 to 6 seconds away from Shanks, who of course was up there with the top guys, and with that pace, I mean,
Jamie's got damage.
Guys. And Jamie's got damage. I mean, FRL currently in last place in the event, 21 points as Jamie.
Jesus. Nearly took Campbell with him there.
Yeah, nearly DNF'd here, and he runs into the wall, gets himself damaged. I think that's his.
I mean, if you're going to get damage, at least get a full front wing, make it worth it, I guess. But
at least get it fully changed. And everyone else pitting as well now, so even worse for him. And he hits the wall again.
As Brendan
gets a penalty
on those hard tires. It's not been a great start to the race. I was going to say Walton might have been held up slightly there. Not too sure. As Carmentalist obviously does carry on those medium tires. It does take make it a 1-2, technically, for Relentless at the minute.
He does, but I mean, of course, Wouter has pitted. Commental is the only guy on track who has not pitted yet, and I mean, Relentless currently really looking pretty good.
Yeah,
I would
pretty
say
comfortable P2 at the minute.
Still, QVR, I mean, even with Wouter winning, QVR is still going to pull ahead.
Yeah, because they're 3, 4, 3rd, 4th and 5th at the minute. Spag in 15th, I mean, it's not what he wanted, obviously, but it almost doesn't matter that he's P15 in a way. How well their other 3 drivers have done is kind of set them away from Relentless today.
Yeah, they have, but I mean, it's still 8 laps to go in the race, and in some way, everything can still happen, and QVR just needs to just stay where they are right now and try to finish this race, because even if they drop down a place, it's not gonna really matter at all to them, because if they lose like 1 or 2 points, it really won't matter. I mean, they're going to pull ahead anyways, and it's not really gonna stress them too much. And Commental is actually pitted, or he did not. I think he did just 4 laps because he started them. Yeah. With all the stops, it looks like he already pitted for them, but of course he did not.
I was going to say, it's a bit of a risky strategy going for him. 8 laps on those soft tyres.
Yeah, but I mean,
he's almost a pit stop behind this front group already, so he does need something major to happen. As Combi is going for the move on Wouter, may as well, obviously, with that how effective DRS is going to be. He's gone for a complete dive there. Yeah. He did not need to do that at all.
Yeah. That's what I meant with QVR just needing to stick there. You don't have to risk it all, and I mean, he drops down the place to TTG now.
He might have damage as well.
To Tibos.
I'm trying to see if he does have damage actually.
Just
I don't think he does, luckily. But
yeah, this is... Yeah. Sorry to say this, but this is just not a clever move, because... I don't really get it, because you're fighting for the win. You've got 7 laps to go. I mean, you don't want to stay behind the driver for too long. I mean, everyone who's raced ever on any game, you know that you want to be in first place. But
yes, but
if you're driving in a team event, you should put the team over your own wolf. And I mean,
even in a 5-lapper, I don't think I would go for that type of move. It was the wrong place to do the move. I understand him going for the move, it's more than, but going into that corner where no DRS is such a short straight. Is clear as day that Wouter was always going to make the corner first, so I think Wouter's pleased with him making the move personally, but I don't think he will be happy in the debrief.
And one thing to look out as well, I mean, everyone's approaching the guys in P1 and 2 now. I mean, Wouter's coming closer to his teammate. And
could we see a bit of team play here?
Some team play. Commentalus maybe holding up the QVR guys.
Yeah, let Wouter through or give him DRS. A lot could go on here, which is my only reason to why he's still out there, because he's losing hand over fist in terms of time now on those mediums. Yes.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what his plan is. I mean, his plan, of course, is to go for a softs, but he's gonna come out so far behind. He's gonna come out in P10, or even further behind. I mean,
I was going to say he might be even P11, P12.
It's a short pit straight, but I'm not quite sure how long a pit stop takes, but at least 20 seconds, and that might be right between Simply Superman and Dressy, so that it's not going to be great for him.
On those soft tyres, he should at least get past Dressing enough. But I don't think any further than P10, realistically, will be.
Yeah, I mean, the softs are going to be better at the end, but you'll find out and figure out that there's not enough time left to just make a move, because
I think from P16 it's a good race from Commentalist, gets himself and Relentless some good points, with Wouter also in first of the minute, and this train of drivers that did pit at the start, they are catching this front train quite a bit, in my opinion.
They are. It's Combi Kermi, he's already caught up to Campbell again, and I mean, you can tell that all of these guys, as Carmental comes into the pits finally at some point now, That means 5 laps for him to go all out. As I think he's actually getting his wing changed as well.
That may be
Yeah,
why
he is
too.
getting his
Yeah,
wing changed.
that may be
why
some of
he's
the pace.
pitting now, and there's the yellow flag. It is. It's Jamie who
drove
takes himself
straight on.
out. Jamie took himself out on purpose.
I think Stewart may need to have a look at that. It's pretty ridiculous driving there from the FRL driver. If I'm honest, I don't know if he went to take someone out or he purposely took himself out. It's just not what you want to see at all.
From my point of view, I just went onto his point of view, and he just drove straight into the wall in turn 1.
I saw him already in the wall post, so I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure what that was about, but I mean, what a lost race for FRL.
Yeah.
Only one guy there, and then this is happening. I mean, he was in a good position.
Yeah, he was in that P6 train, weren't he?
Yeah, he then, after the pit stops, he just got damaged. Or actually, just right before the pit stops, he got damaged. Which didn't totally ruin his race, but kind of did.
It's really not what you want to see, though. In a team event, there's no need, but... Oh well. We continue on. What I'm going to make a bold prediction that Combi is going to help drag Campbell away from Relentless, Justas and Tibos, and try and get him back towards QVR, Shanks and Welter if he can, or just protect him from the drivers behind now.
They have the pace, all the QVR guys. They have the pace to get closer, and also, I mean, Welter has been doing a great job, but QVR, I mean, Kermie has been the fastest guy on track today in qualifying and also in the race, but he will need to do some work here in the final 4 laps of the race to get that first place back, or the second place. I mean, for him it probably matters if he gets second or third, but for the team it really does not.
Yeah, I was going to say they're going to get the same points either way, so I'm sure they'll be happy with the 2, 3, 4, which is what they were getting before anyway, to be fair.
Yeah, so. And I mean, even though Wouters winning, Relentless still losing points to QVR, 1 P5 and 1 P9 finish. If Car Mentalist would get up to P5, it would be closer again, but...
He's gaining a lot, but I don't think he's
gaining a lot.
Not enough laps, I think.
Yeah, he needs 9 seconds in 4 laps, and...
He's got to hope Simply Superman gets some penalties.
Either that or some guys crashing out ahead getting damaged, but...
Which
the way
could easily
the
happen.
guys in the way the guys in the top 7 have been driving, except for the incident for Combi Kermi, it's been a great race, and they all have not made any mistakes so far. So I mean, I don't really see it happening, but of course you never know. This track.
I was going to say, if you do go on board with the drivers, you can tell how much they know the tracks. Like,
yeah, I know. Okay, that's Forza Brandon. That's one guy at the bottom of the pack. I mean,
yeah,
that was pretty much. Oh yeah, he just crashed it in the cast section, right into the wall.
Unfortunate for the Relentless driver. Obviously, I do race Forza Brendan weekly, and he is a very quick driver. I think he didn't have the best of races here today, so I'm sure he'll be wanting to better that at France. But yeah, the gaps have already settled down, haven't they?
I mean, Brenton, for Relentless, Brenton was involved in some incident to start as well. In the incident with Noah, actually, who of course retired.
Yeah.
But, at least you can say he did his best Charles Leclerc impression here in the castle section.
He'll be proud of that, I guess, yeah.
Yeah. But I was talking about something happening still in the last 4 laps, and even though, it didn't really actually matter at the end, because it's still, he was only battling for P13 in P13, so it wasn't really that big of a deal. Yeah, my prediction was right, but even in real life, when you would have said that nothing's gonna happen on the track, you then saw in the actual Grand Prix this year that, the punctures, of course.
Oh yeah, you got
changed everything.
We need some of them now, I think. Spice the race up a bit.
If I'm a team owner here, I don't want it to happen, honestly.
Yeah.
It was for excitement.
A very weird experience, those tyre explosions that day. The whole race was a bit confusing, but I'm trying to find a battle. The only one is Campbell and Combi, which isn't really going to be a battle due to them being the same team as well.
Yeah.
as
They're
we
just
do
driving
enter
behind each other. Yeah.
lap 11. It has flown by this race, to be fair. Not many drivers left, but it has gone quickly, which is what the other drivers will want to see as they can get back racing in France, which is also, weirdly, one of the better tracks on this calendar.
Yeah, I mean, for the fighting, for the actual racing part, I mean, the second race today in France is certainly going to be better than this one. I mean, even though it's the track where it's basically going to be DRS trains all the way, it's still going to probably be better than this one.
Yeah.
As that might have been a warning for Campbell running over that curb. Well,
he will have to be careful of that if he is on two warnings now.
I'll quickly check that.
I think he'll just lose the position to Justas, but
yeah, he actually is on two warnings, and he did get one for that. But
he does need to be a bit careful now these last two laps, which he should be able to do just
all the
fine.
Guys, actually, Simply Superman did get 3 warnings, but no penalty yet.
Oh,
so,
it might have been a collision warning, to be fair.
Yeah, he did get the last one on the yeah, it might have been on the first lap. I mean, I see some guys from Campbell, Tibos, and Jarl, they all got 2 warnings. Also, Shanks got 2 warnings, but I don't think that matters too much for himself because he's pretty safe in that second place.
Yeah. And even if he does get a pen, he's got 2 QBR drivers behind him anyway, so the points will still be the same. As we seem to keep saying that, but nothing changed. I don't think I've seen an overtake since the pit stops.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, the only overtake that has been tried, honestly, was Combi Kermi, of course, against Wouter. But
good point.
We all know that did not work out in the planned way. And looks like Shanks made a little mistakes as Combi Kermi caught up. And I mean, if anyone gets the third warning and the penalty, that might actually change a little bit because Shanks is not. I mean, Justas is not too far away as Knuf overtakes Dressy. And they're going side by side. It's the first on-track fight we've seen in quite a bit.
Good move there from Knuf on those probably quite worn medium tyres now, actually. But obviously, all points up for grabs now, I'm pretty sure, here in this event. As he does make a mistake as well, so Dressy's going to be right on him going on to this last lap. Does have some ERS to play with as well compared to Knuf. Will we see a last lap battle for 10th place?
Yeah, and I mean, it also matters for the third place in the championship, even though it might not seem like it's that big of a deal. But, I mean, I think for the team, it should always be the main priority to finish ahead of other guys. I mean, even if it's only for third place, it's always important as Dressy nearly hits the wall.
He may have got damage there.
That looked really close. He did not get... I mean, he might have gotten damage, but did not look like it. But he's running so close to the wall.
Either way now, I think Dressy has lost DRS to enough as well, so that abruptly ends that battle.
Yeah, it does. And looking at the results, it looks like TTG is also gaining some points on IFR, as of course Noah retired, Dressy behind Knuf, and Jarl also behind Tibos. So TTG against IFR is going to be a real close battle. Yeah.
I mean, Relentless, I think, just a bit too far ahead of TTG at the minute. But
yeah, 40 points ahead. And I mean, they're also going to be around, I mean, still going to be further ahead because of Wouter, Justas, and Commentalist. But yeah, I mean, the battle for P1 isn't actually won, but it's still not too far.
It's a sort of
not
battle.
Too far. Yeah, I mean, there's still 3 races left, so it's not going to be the worst
Anything could happen in those 3 races, so we will see. But QVR at the minute controlling their own events, but Ariel Wouter, who drove fantastically, I think, here today, started second, did lose out to P3 at the beginning, worked his way back through the field, and then ever since he got into that lead, he's controlled the race. Brilliant drive and a brilliant win. I think as long as there's no punctures this last straight, he will take the win, which he does so by a 3.3 second margin. Two QVR Shanks. Can't be Karomi in P3 and Campbell P4.
Running over the line at the same time. The QVR guys all coming home, getting those points in and securing the lead in the championship. And I mean, Relentless also did a good job to just stay ahead, but I mean, TTG, I think, might be the winners of this race, honestly, because they're getting closer to IFR. I mean, QVR already winners of the first event, and they just solidified themselves as the team to beat.
They've helped themselves a lot today, As
it's not going to be easy to take them.
Will end off the race as well, conveniently. He's not really, unfortunately for Spaghetti Chips, he's not really had anything to do with that. After that lap 1 incident, he had a lot of work to do to get anywhere near any other drivers, and I'm sure he'll take P13 and not a retiree. So that does end the first race. I mean, a bit more battles, and we'll be wanting breath after the second race, I think. That's for sure.
Definitely, and I mean, of course, there's also going to be another one-shot qualifying for that one as well. And I mean, we'll have to see. I mean, it's also a track where you can easily mess up, probably more than around this track, even in qualifying. I mean, here people are going to be really safe in qualifying to not mess up in qualifying. I mean, also in the race, because you have to be on the limit, but also have to be careful. And in France, you can be more on the limit, I'd say, because of course the runoff is
more likely to get warnings as well, I think.
More likely to get warnings, but also more likely to go on the limit. Yeah, I'll quickly run through the grid. Varta takes the win for Relentless, Shanks in P2 for QVR, Combi Kermi in P3 after starting on pole, so the top 3 also finishing in a different way in the top 3. Campbell for QVR in P4, Justus in P5, Tibbers in P6, Joel in P7, Simply Superman in P8, Commentalist in P9, Knuf in P10, Dressy in P11, Noisy in P12, Spaghetti Chips in P13. Brendan, Jamie and Noah all did not finish. And yeah, that's it for race 1.
Yeah. Very entertaining street circuit, easily the best street circuit on calendar, and I'm guessing we'll move straight into this as long as, I don't know if anyone, I think
maybe FRL will get in. I'm not quite sure if that's going to be.
I think they've left. I think he's left as well, actually.
Yeah, he's left as well. I think. Yeah. I think FRL really.
They've almost retired from the event, which I'm not too sure to why, to be honest. But
yeah, I mean, down in last place, pretty far behind. I mean.
I think they had an unlucky first race of the season. The first 2 races, from what I remember, they had a few spins, but 2 races again today. They were on for some good points as well with James, and so yeah. Either way, we'll be should be going away again shortly. I'm hoping.
Just waiting for the drivers to be running again. I mean, shouldn't be too long of a break. But maybe a few minutes or
a drinks break,
just for the drivers to get ready.
Yeah, I mean, little drinks break for them, get their composure back. Won't do them any harm, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, after their first race, I mean, some drivers definitely need some more composure, I'd say. Because I mean, after just driving around after driving around for 13 laps without any fights, I mean, that might not be the greatest thing for them. But yeah, we'll have to see what's gonna happen now. I mean,
yeah,
it's a difficult circuit in some way, because you can easily invalidate at pretty much any point of the circuit. I mean, turn 1 and 2, it's so difficult to take. Right, to just take in a quick way to get the best possible lap, but also to not invalidate, because you have the inside line where you can invalidate. You have the curb on the inside in turn 2 where you can validate, and if you run too wide, you also invalidate. So
it's just everywhere.
The same goes for the same thing goes for pretty much the next 3 corners. If you run over the inside curbs everywhere,
Well,
just a
what I
little bit
will
off
say
the
about
track.
France
Validate.
is, um, it's a very like driver's track. So like, if you do get into a groove here, you'll see yourself stop getting warning, stop worrying about like track limits or an ERS. You'll just be able to compose yourself very easily and get on with the job. That's what I find anyway.
Yeah, if you don't feel good about yourself on the track or anything, you're gonna be struggling a lot. You'll
Yeah.
not be, yeah,
For
you'll not
sure.
be doing good because I've had a race here a few days ago, and I mean my experience of the track. I like the track honestly. It feels pretty nice on this game actually, and I think it can be good if the game's also doing the same. But I'm hoping that we don't get the same thing that happened to me on Wednesday because
Oh God.
the game has got a lot of bugs, but that one was probably one of the worst ones that I've seen, apart
Wait,
from
what?
PSGL of one yesterday.
I was going to say,
And
was it as bad as PSGL's yesterday, or?
I'm not quite sure, but after 4 laps, someone crashed and the safety car came out. And for 9 laps in the 25% race,
Ooh.
the safety car stayed out, and we had to overtake the safety car every lap, and it never came in.
Oh,
So
that's quite fun,
yeah,
I guess. At least you didn't lose
yeah,
positions, but
it was just a race behind the safety car without overtaking.
yeah,
It
this
was pretty
seems to
bad.
have a lot more bugs than last year, personally. As I think, are you on board with Noah?
I am on board with Noah. Of course, he did not finish in the last race. He crashed on lap 1, so he's been sitting here waiting for about 15 minutes and not getting the feel of driving for a bit. As Dressy already retires from the session. That was quick. That honestly was pretty quick.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
And
know where exactly it would have binned it. Actually, it seemed to binned it on the middle of a straight, but as spaghetti chips as
Spaghetti
well as
chips
also
is the
retired.
second one.
Right, if there's
And
anything
you
like
can
the
tell,
race,
I
it's going to
mean,
be chaos.
this race, it looks like it's going to be a little bit more chaotic because Combi Kermi looks like he invalidated, I think, because he's only down in 13th place. No, he must have made a mistake. It doesn't show up that he
Yeah.
invalidated. But Combi Kermi, he was on pole last race, and now he's only at the bottom. So that's something to see.
With
And
the IFR and TTG noisy, IFR Joel as well, they're right up there, which obviously for that battle for P3, it's going to make it a lot more interesting, I think, as long as they can keep those positions, as Relentless seem to be doing a very good job at the minute, from this qualifying anyway. As
yeah,
IFR
I mean, it looks
Noah-
like
continue.
Wouter coming through the final corner, and Wouter won the first race today and gets pole position by the looks of it, and just does.
Not
Puts
too
himself
far
in
back.
P2, and I mean, looking at everything here, it looks like Relentless is trying to make that comeback on QVR. I mean, 2 guys in the top 2. QVR is not up there. I mean, P5 and P6, P13 and P14.
It's
That's just not
It's not what they needed, is
what
it?
they want. Yeah, I mean, TTG and IFR and P3, P4. TTG was still better than the other guys. I mean, Dressy retired, of course, and Tippos and Knoof also did a good job finishing ahead of Noah, but it's gonna be a really close one.
I will say the 2 Relentless drivers in P10 and P11, I think that could make quite an impact in this race later on. Obviously, Brendan Nossum, much due to him having to go on the soft tyres, but commented list again on those medium tyres, I'm going to presume. He could, if there's some carnage and he gets through it safely, he could make quite an impact on this race. So, Relentless, not out for the count just yet, as we do head into the race, our second race of the day, on day 2.
Yeah, and I mean, I would be shocked to see anyone outside of the out of the top 10 to take anything else than mediums again. I mean,
Yeah, it's the obvious thing to do, really, isn't it?
it's obvious to take those tires, and I mean, top 10 of course on softs.
Yeah, as we get a lovely view of the pit lane, waiting for the drivers to ready up, which I never really understood, but I guess it's something better than the black screen.
Yeah, that's true.
As we are going to get underway very shortly, and we'll get to see the cars which are much better looking than the real F1 cars, I think, especially that Relentless livery is one to admire, that's for sure.
And the tire choices, as
Ooh.
expected. Oh, Combi,
No.
Kermy, and Gressy going for the softs.
That
They
is
want to push at the start. I mean,
yeah,
they definitely want
I don't think Superman and Commentalist are going to like that fact. But especially after some of the moves made in Baku, I think people will be well aware of where each driver is going into corners. But obviously this very unique design of a track with the blue-red tarmac out on the outside, does make for some interesting racing, that's for sure, as people, like you said earlier on, push the limits a lot more so here.
Yeah, I mean, now we'll see. Of course, all of the guys now warming up the tires. And I mean, this might actually be the race that can decide the entire championship, because with 2 races to go, Relentless needs to win this one and gain on QVR. And I mean, they are in the perfect position to do that right now. But if QVR can pull out something great in the race, it might be over. Probably not mathematically when it comes to points, because I mean there's definitely still enough points on the table for Relentless to make something happen on the final day. But I mean, if they don't perform like they did in qualifying now, it's pretty much gonna be over for them.
What I will be interested to see is how Kainuf and Tibos do in P7 and P8. Obviously they got the 2 QVR guys in front of them, but if they do push on, it's going to make it a lot more interesting in their battle with IFR, as it's only really Joel up there, with Noah and Dressy both behind him, and Superman as well.
Yeah, and also just before we start, I think I really love the fact about the multiplayer cars, because you know, it's always nice to see just different cars liveries on the track again.
100%.
And some of those liveries definitely would deserve to be real F1 as well.
Yeah, I think I much prefer some of these, as we do not get to see the red lights, really. As 5 red lights, and away we go for here in France, and Justas does get a better start by the looks of it, and oh my god, there's chaos.
Yeah, and I think there's one guy already in the wall, and it is Tibos and Simply Superman. Noisy around, it's all TTG guys, and that
and Kainuf as well.
Everyone. Yeah, it's every TTG guy has crashed out or spun around, and
I think
everything
started them there.
Yeah, everything started off. Honestly, it started off by, I think it was who was the guy in P3? It was Noisy, who had an awful start, a terrible start in P3, and
he seemed to just
nearly
lose
lost
traction,
the car.
didn't he?
Yeah, he lost traction nearly, and Shanks. They were 3 wide. I think Joel, Shanks, and Noisy all went side by side going into turn 1, or even before that, and then everyone just got caught up in that, and they could not avoid that. And TTG, after getting closer in the first race today, now it's basically over for them, unless they can pull off an amazing comeback.
I think only Kainuf has survived that without damage for him.
I think Noisy also did, but he did lose a lot of time. He might actually did get some side pod damage, I think, but of course you cannot tell. It looks a little bit like
it. Wing as well.
Yeah, he is completely gone, and Campbell nearly running into the back of Joel. And of course, for QVR, this was a perfect start.
It's things they could only dream of, really. Obviously now they're going to be P3 and P5 with Spaghetti Chips as well, also making a good start as Campbell. Nearly loses it.
Chips here. That was a good move. Up in turn 1, and he's helping Relentless a little bit. But IFR, of course, they can just cruise this home, and they'll be further ahead from TTG again.
Yeah,
which they'll most certainly like. I
was going to say Campbell did just go for a move on Joel, and almost lose it at the same time, which would have made it a lot more interesting again with Relentless. But
yeah, there's some switching on the straight, some moving sides to And there is Campbell nearly loses the car. He's just throwing the car into every corner.
Yeah, could be a setup issue maybe. I'm not too sure if he's done this race before, but it does seem a very twitchy car Campbell has it at the minute.
It does. He looks like he's just went for the unstable car because into that chicane, yeah, he just throws it in there. It looks like it's just sliding around. I mean, around some tracks, Monaco to be exact. It's I mean, you can tell it. I mean, when drifting is the best thing, the best way to go around slow corners, that might be the move to go here.
Almost hits Joel going into the final corner again. But yeah, drifting, even though it's very fun, definitely wouldn't. I don't think the tyres like it, that's for sure. As Campbell again looking for the move on Joel, and he really wants to get past the IFR driver. However, it's not like Joel's driving slowly. He's keeping up very easily with, well, the lead runners, to be honest. They're all in this little train, but he just, Campbell just looks really close to him.
As I said before the race, I mean, the DRS trains, this is probably the worst track on the calendar for the thing, because you cannot really overtake with everyone stuck there. But Campbell now going for the move up for fourth against Joel, and he's running him off the track nearly, and he is just pushing him off. That was pretty harsh from him there, as Joel gets their place back, but they were side by side, and I think that is Dressy and QleenVigor. He got damaged, and Relentless.
Relentless is secretly happy at the minute. Dressy without a front wing. I think Combi has survived it without damage, maybe. But yeah, again, another driver without a front wing. I've got to say, like this week compared to last especially, the driving standards have been a lot worse of these two tracks. I don't know why specifically, but as Campbell has gone into the pit, obviously very happy behind Joel with that little incident they did have. He's obviously going to go for the undercut now on those medium tyres.
Yeah, that's a good move, I'd say. Maybe even not only for that, but also maybe for the undercut on the guys ahead, which could certainly help him.
With Joel now also out of DRS of the guys in front, which is going to make a big impact on his race with only 30% DRS.
Yeah, it definitely is. And I mean,
I will say Brendan and Car Mentalist have done really well here. They've kept out the damage, kept out of the wars very nicely indeed, and they're sat in a very nice P6 and P7 at the minute with a Car Mentalist on those medium tyres as well.
Yeah, they definitely are, and I mean, one thing also to watch, I mean, Relentless is currently gaining pretty much every point they can gain on QVR, and I wouldn't be surprised if they would be just right there after this race, unless QVR can get all those places back. But I mean, Mentalist, he's gonna have the tire advantage at the end, going for the softs, and that's gonna be.
We do have really quite a interesting battle, not for the lead, but Spaghetti Chips versus Car Mentalist on those medium tyres. QVR versus Relentless.
Pulling into the pits, and Shanks did get a penalty.
As Brendan does as well. For Relentless. They're just copying each other here, aren't they? Relentless and QVR. As I say that, as Justas and Welter change positions, with Welter Justas on 100% DRS. Absolutely loving life at the minute in P1. As Knuff now on the back of this little medium battle will want to get past them fairly quickly, but I don't think he'd be able to do much, especially against Spaghetti Chips, as he's just going to be stuck, as they're both going to have DRS. I think it's going to be inevitable that Spaghetti Chips gets Mentalist this lap.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the Relentless guys definitely have to pit now, and I really want to know where they are going to end up now, because they got undercut by Campbell for 2 laps and by the other guys for another one. So Campbell already got past Joel and Noah. So
they could be under threat here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure why they stayed out for another 2 laps here, honestly.
Yeah, they really didn't need to.
There was no point, yeah.
They're lead drivers, so they wouldn't even been held up. As they both do go into the pits now.
No penalties for them, so that's a good thing. So they will end up in front of Shanks and Noah. In any way, Knuf also pulling into the pits.
So I'm going to ride on board with Shanks real quick, just see where because obviously Campbell's going to be right behind them, so it may be a case of they almost have to try and fit. Because where are the relentless? You know?
Yeah, they actually only Wouter did, and he's right beside Campbell. Oof. They nearly collide, but just about made it out ahead, but Wouter needs to get back those places from the QVR guys. I mean, he's got the best tires now, but
he does. Doesn't really make a difference. He's in a 4-man DRS train, isn't he, as well?
Yeah, and it doesn't really matter if you have 1 or 2 lap old tires against fresh tires, because they're all fresh in some way. Yeah. And you can tell they're all pulling to the left and now going to pull back to the right to brake for the corner. That's been the one thing that all these guys have been doing during the entire race. But
Campbell is on around 10% ERS compared to Wouter's 70%. So Wouter could look for a move without DRS.
And the spaghetti chips have spun around. Still needs to pit. I just switched to him. Looking at what he is doing, and he just spins around. And that definitely cost him a lot of time and ruined his tires, so maybe coming in now for the pits. No, he is not. Staying out for another 1 or 2 laps, but...
How much positions will that cost him? That's what because obviously we had the IFR and TTG guys crash at the start, so how far behind will he be? I wonder, when they do eventually go on to pit.
Yeah, he is going to be a bit further behind, I'd say, and of course Justus gained 8 to 9 seconds to chips there after that spin, and you know, that was really unfortunate for him, but good for Relentless.
Yeah.
Because it's also going to get Brendan a place, so...
We've got to remember that Brendan also has that 5-second penalty as well, though. Which a lot of drivers are picking up now. There's those 3-second ones as well. Now we're on 6 seconds. QVR Shanks in P4 with a 5-second pen. He'll go all the way down to P7 with that. As he does so, actually, he loses 2 positions as Wouter goes for the double move on the QVR drivers. Obviously, Wouter, I don't think Wouter races. He does make it work. I don't know if he races Campbell in other races, but both clean racing from the both of them. And he's back into P4. In a net 1-2 again with Justus. However, this time Justus is almost 2 seconds clear.
Yeah, he is, and Wouter is now under incredible pressure from the guys behind us. There's a... In fact, I think, who was that?
Noisy.
That might have been Noisy again. Yeah, his front wing is gone again, and TTG. That might be the worst race in history for them.
A race to forget.
Commentalist in the pits now. And Chips too. Now it's important to see where they will come out now, because I mean, they will be on the better tires now to end this race. Commentalist coming out. Looks like he will come out in P7. He still has got some time to go in the pit lane. It will be P7. Or will he come out behind Kermie? He will come out right next to him, but he will come out ahead. So Forza Brandon needs to get past Kermie now, and then Relentless is gaining even more points.
Yeah, I think, obviously Commentalist as well. With Noah having 6 seconds worth of pens, he'll automatically gain that position. Will he be able to catch Joel in time as well?
If he catches Joel, he might actually be up to get the top 3 finish here. I mean, it's only 5 laps, but he's not too far away. He's not too far away. He only is about 9 seconds away. Shanks got that 5-second penalty. Noah got a 5-second penalty, or actually 6 seconds. And the only guy that will lose out places here, Brendan, of course, who picked up that 5-second penalty, and he will probably drop down to P11. I'd say Knuf is gonna get him, and Chips on the better tires, he's easily gonna catch him. But apart from that, I'm not quite sure what's gonna happen here.
Definitely will be a few position changes, I'm sure, by the end of the race, and a few more penalties, I reckon, as well to come in this 13-lap race. We've got this massive train at the front, but from Wouter all the way down to Joel in P5. They're all just waiting for a little mistake to make a move, it seems like.
Yeah, Campbell and Shanks are just really hunting down Wouter right now, but also Joel not doing a bad job here, staying with them. But I mean, now it's really again the DRS train that we've been talking about. I mean, you have the DRS, but you can't really overtake. But now Campbell, with the better exit, maybe. But he got less ERS than Wouter, so not sure if he's gonna make a move here, trying to go down the inside. No,
thinks better of it.
He thinks the better of it for another time, and that's been the one thing that's been pretty much happening every lap.
Yeah, looking at the move.
Yeah, looking at the move, but just staying behind because you're just quite not there to make it work. I mean,
yeah,
of course you don't want to risk it because you're currently in P1. If you now crash with someone, you might get a penalty, or the other guy might not even get damage from it. If he drops down to like P7, that means Relentless is right there to take the lead, and there's not a lot of not that big of a gap between everyone from P3 to P10 that just like in Azerbaijan, if you make a mistake here, you're gonna drop down more places. So
yeah, a little
this time now on the straight,
he
stays behind again.
Oh,
and he picks up a penalty. Yeah, I mean, at some point you have to go for it.
Yeah, he has to get past this lap now.
I mean, he had the move in turn 1, but he just did not look at it and just stuck behind and then got the penalty because he had to take a different line there. But I mean, at some point this time, this exit wasn't the best one. He's a bit further behind now than last lap.
He managed
to catch up to him. Yeah, has 9 seconds, but this time actually he cruises past without using ERS.
That makes me think he didn't want to get past last lap, as it did.
But
seem
I mean,
a bit
Wouter
like
this time.
Yeah,
I think Wouter allowed him to get past just because he knows about the penalty situation.
Yeah. He knows how much warnings he's on as well, doesn't he? So
the only thing I'm not quite sure, he probably doesn't know how much ERS Campbell has, but they're both on pretty much the same amount of ERS, even though Wouter got a little bit more, but that probably won't make too much of a difference. Some more penalties coming in right now.
Coming in thick and fast as well for a 13-lap race.
Yeah, I mean, France is that track where you can get all those penalties very easily.
Yeah, more than one lap, couldn't you?
Yeah, pretty much every corner, especially in the first and second sector, you can get all those penalties. But now Commentalist still has not caught up enough to Noah and Joel to make a move here. He's gonna get Noah easily because of penalties, but he's not gonna get anyone else here, and that's pretty concerning.
Yeah. It does feel a bit, I don't know if you had these when I score, but show and tell. It always seems like they're showing us what they can do, but not actually doing it. It's a bit annoying, really, but as Campbell has got that gap already out to 6 tenths. It does seem quicker at this stage to Wouter, but it's already caught back.
Also, not even being closer to Wouter and quicker than him. He also caught up about a second to Justus in P1. And even though it's only 2 laps to go, that also shows that Campbell has got the pace and he's trying to make everything work here.
Yeah, he really didn't need to get that penalty. He would have been on for a very good result, to say the least, if it wasn't for that pen. It seems that
without
he does,
that pen, without that pen, it would have been P2. And with that pen, with both pens, it looks like QVR is going to drop down from a potential 2 and 4 finish. Probably going back to a 4 and 5 finish, with Relentless taking 1 and 2. As of now, I don't want to commentate to curse anyone right now, because 2 laps to go. Noise gets the penalty down in P14. I mean, TTG, this is a lost race. Knuf did a pretty decent recovery in P10, but yeah, just a lost race. Spaghetti Chips only P11.
A
which
big
will
what-if
change, of
race
course,
from
as
TTG.
Dressy, there's one guy crashing out.
Some
Same
more
spot
points for
that
TTG, I
Spaghetti
guess.
Chips. Yeah, that's a small positive for them.
It is a bit of a two-way battle now, isn't it, for P2? Well, not even for P1, and then P3 is almost
P3.
IFR's confirmed again now.
Yeah, and I mean, TTG also pretty much got that 4th place confirmed in
With FRL
with no
not
fight
turning
being,
up.
with no fight being shown behind. But now 1.5 laps to go. Wouter might want to take the place back on track,
Just
which
in case.
he's right there, just to make sure that he's not gonna pick up a penalty himself. But I don't think he picked up. He probably might have picked up a penalty or a warning somewhere, but I'm not quite sure. He picked up 2 warnings, so 1 more.
So he might, yeah, I was going to say he might
Same
have to
goes
go
for
for mid.
Justus and for Joel and Noah actually got Noah got so many warnings you can't even count them. But
One a lap.
Justus, Joel and Wouter are all sitting on 2 warnings, so one little mistake on the final lap and that could even cost them the position they could gain.
Obviously, Carmentress as well will gain that P6 on penalties, almost on track as well. So it is getting a lot closer than we originally thought, I think, going into this race.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Relentless had the advantage, of course, but with TTG making those mistakes, and also not everything was their own fault, but just with them being
a lot
unlucky.
of lap 1 chaos, yeah.
The lap 1 chaos, it just really changed the dynamic of this race.
Oh, Brendan's got another pen, never mind.
Yeah, and that will put him down to P11.
I think,
that pretty
confirmed P11, yeah.
Yeah, that confirms P11 for him.
Oh.
Knufel gets 1.
Maybe not.
At this point, he's still right there behind him as Wouter.
Does get that move done.
Yeah,
right thing to do, really.
And Shanks gets another one, but that will not impact anyone's race. If Carmentalus would have had a great pace on the softs and would have gotten closer to everyone that might have actually been something to look out for there. But now Campbell right behind Wouter, both got below 10% Earth, so they are just right behind each other here, trying to fight for the 2nd place, but that will not do any difference here, because Justus is going to come home here to win. Wouter is going to take 2nd place, and the QVR guys are going to be 4th and 5th.
A good result, nonetheless, from QVR.
Comes over the line, takes the win.
Yeah.
Wouter in P2, Campbell in P3, Shanks, of course, in P5 now. IFR Noah will drop down to Commentalist, who just caught up on the final lap but could not get a move down on track.
as well. Noah will lose too.
Yeah, he will. Also then, Forza Brandon
And TTG
dropping down to
enough,
P11.
and Spa. Oh my, a lot of changes.
A lot of changes, but
actually, if you actually look at it, I think it's going to be pretty much the same points. As obviously Relentless get 1-2 here, but then 6th and 11th, whereas QVR are a lot closer together, 4th, 5th, 7th and 8th. So
yeah,
quite an even split, really, considering. Especially considering Relentless 1-2.
We'll have to find out in the next week what's gonna happen here. And it's still one week to go in round 3, and we'll certainly see some great racing again there.
I was going to say, if
the
there's
racing
anything
today wasn't too
anything
great.
like today, a lot could change.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the tracks Hungary. It's for racing. It's not the greatest track, I would say.
Yeah, it's not the best, is it?
Some driving that was shown today that might also not be the best track for that, because it's going to be really chaotic as well. And Brazil,
Brazil's
is going to
quite
be a
good
track
race,
for great racing. But I mean,
a very
we'll have
close
to find out next
race.
week. Yeah. And the guys coming out on the podium.
Very bright.
Very bright suit for him. For all guys, one guy.
The colourful podiums.
Purple. Yeah, that's really something to look at. I mean, if that would be the podium in real life, that would be
saw that in F1
pretty awkward
real
to
life
look
a bit.
I mean,
you want to take your eyes off it after a while, I think.
Yeah.
But
also, pretty cool thing. Looking at it, I think the suit pretty much looks like just as flag colors from Lithuania.
Maybe it is. I think it does on purpose then, by the looks of it. As we'll quickly run through the grid for everyone watching. Justas and Welter taking a 1-2 for Relentless. IFR Joel in P3. QVR Campbell in P4. Shanks in P5. Car Mentalist in P6. A good race from him from P11 again. Combi from P13 to P7. Spaghetti Chips in P8. Kanuff 9th. Noah 10th. Brendan 11th. Tibos 12th. Noisy 13th. Dress and Simply Superman the only retirees. And that does round off the grid and this session as well. I don't know why we're not going back to the lobby.
Yeah, I don't know.
Everyone's leaving, but so I will end the stream here. It's been a pleasure commentating with you. You got any last words?
Yeah, it was a pleasure for me too. And I mean, we'll certainly be back next week, and you'll find out who's going to be commentating next week. I mean, maybe Mark will show up for once. That might be the one thing.
Maybe me as well. I'm not too sure yet, but
yeah,
I'll have to wait and see.
You'll find out next week. Someone will certainly be here for the final round of the QVR Invitational, and it was a great race.
I think we'll leave you there. So hope you all enjoyed, and obviously come along next week. It'll be a lot of fun for sure.